Some say that coming out of a crisis is harder than dealing with it at its start, and that what you do afterwards matters as much as what you do during it. The college's communities of students, staff and old members have pulled together amazingly since the pandemic began. But we're also looking to the future, and I'll say more about that in a minute. Everyone has their own story about the pandemic, and while there are similarities because we faced a common challenge, there are differences too. A college is an incredibly complex organism. It learns and educates, it researches, it feeds and eats, it sleeps and socialises, debates and inhabits the big issues of the day. Within that organic whole, the pandemic's effect on students has been very different as between, say, those international undergraduates forced to stay here all year, often while worrying about their families back home, and other students who, having been at home over Christmas and in Hilary, couldn't make it to Oxford at all in Trinity Term. Hilary Term was particularly hard. The college was largely closed. The days were dark and cold, echoing the national mood, and it was tough for everyone. On the staff side, some members of operational staff were on and off furlough for months, while academics and other college staff worked incredibly hard to deal with the constant changes to law and guidance, often while homeschooling children. And throughout the whole experience, the college has kept to the principles it established right at the start of aiming to do as much as possible of its activity in person, consistent with the guidance and evidence. The very good news is that we have, in academic terms, successfully completed another year. Virtual admissions went smoothly, tutorials have continued in person where possible, and exams and assessments have run smoothly online. At the same time, our programme of events for old members worked extremely well, enabling people who couldn't usually get back to college to take part. We had more than 800 people from 20 countries who got glimpses into aspects of college life rarely seen. We opened up areas from the accounts to the cellars and the kitchens to the potting shed. Financially, the college has taken significant hits to its conference income and its rents, but its sound financial management and generations of generous donors and prudent approach to its endowment has meant that we're so far coming through better than many other organisations. And we have done much more than just survived. We used the empty days last year to finish refurbishing the chapel roof and a number of the rooms. Over the summer, we're going to put new bathrooms in front quad. We celebrated research grants and book publications. And with the brighter, longer days of Trinity Term have come some visible successes to enjoy. We had our best summer torpid since 1840, and the men's first boat achieved blades. Delightfully, last year's Norrington League table was finally published this June, and Queen's is third. Despite it being a deeply flawed measure, it's only human to allow ourselves a moment to enjoy this and the underlying fact that so many of our undergraduates got firsts and 2-1s. Looking to the future, the college remains utterly committed to the in-person tutorials that are the essence of Oxford's teaching, and we'll continue to think for ourselves as we respond to the next phases of the pandemic. Moving to different aspects of college life, and in light of public controversy over what goes on in Oxford colleges that's been very visible over the last weeks and months, I want to be clear that Queen's is committed to ensuring thoughtful debate and deep examination of difficult and complex issues. Queen's has always been a place for debate. It remains utterly committed to freedom of speech. As those debates happen, sometimes deliberately, as part of college or student programmes, and sometimes in response to events in the world or outside, we must resist the kind of knee-jerk social media influenced cultures that would close down dissenting voices without having a reasoned argument. It's a central part of education to be fully confronted, perhaps for the first time, by ideas that are different from your own, to learn how to engage with them and to learn from them. Queen's must remain a place where across different groups and identities, across generations, and across all media, we remain courteous and respectful of each other and those around us. And able to listen and to argue and to reason, even on matters where, as individuals, we might hold personal values, our beliefs and our causes passionately. Coming on to the autumn, Michaelmas will start, we hope, with a focus on building and rebuilding bonds. College life is a residential experience, and from the earliest moments of learning, it's been people sharing both their learning and their living together in person that has made Queen's and other colleges such stimulating places to be, one where lives are transformed. Next year, we'll have new challenges to this core way of being. The incoming freshers will have had their last 2 years of schooling disrupted. We'll welcome back the refreshers as for returning first years who've never experienced a full year of college in person, and third years who've never seen a fully in-person Trinity Term. It's one of the college's jobs to work with them to build the social and cultural and intellectual fabric and promote the well-being and the resilience that will help them to get the most possible out of their time here. In the rest of this newsletter, you'll hear a selection of pandemic diaries from individuals associated with the college and learn something about the research and the books and articles that have been part of the productivity of those isolated moments. You'll hear an account by the first Chinese student to read PPE at Oxford, and there'll be more of our behind-the-scenes looks at gardens and kitchens and other secret places. It's been a hard year for fellows and staff, and we're really looking forward to spending time researching and recovering over the summer so that we can come back together to create the fully best possible year from Michaelmas 2021. So my best wishes to you for a safe and happy summer wherever you are, and I look forward to welcoming you back to Queen's before too long.